Okay, so today we're going to be talking about analyzing whether you need social media or not and how to be successful at it generally. I want to give everyone a reminder of the Cozy Christmas Mystery Contest going on right now. It is a short story contest. All entries are due by December 30th before 5:45 p.m., so get those in. All right, so the questions we're going to be answering today in this video are: is social media marketing worth your time putting into? What kinds of social media bring in what types of audiences? What are tips for creating engaging social media posts and building your brand? And can you market your book too much? Is there such a thing as too much? All right, so the first one we're going to talk about is social media worth putting your time into? If you are independently publishing, I would say 110% absolutely do it. You're not going to make any sales unless you get on social media and start plugging your book, because you are your own advertiser. And yes, I know everyone's like, well, there's Amazon ads and Facebook ads and all those things. Those don't actually start working until you get more sales, funnily enough. I have actually tried both and have several other people who have tried both, and it has increased their sales by maybe 1%, sometimes less. What you're gonna want to do if you want more sales as an indie author is you're gonna want to hop on social media, as many platforms as you can, or just really hone one platform. If you're traditionally publishing, I'd still say a firm yes, but not a necessity. With indie, it's an absolute necessity. Whereas with traditional, it's you should, but not a you have to. Here's why. With independent marketing, as I said, you won't sell anything unless you do it, pretty much. Or if you do sell stuff, it'll be minimal. And even if you do it, it'll still be minimal. So the more marketing you do, the better it will get. Whereas with traditional publishing, the reason why I still say a decent yes is because if they see that you have an audience for your book, let's say 500 followers minimum, they're going to be more likely to accept your book. If you mention, hey, there's already an audience for this on social media, I've already been plugging it, lots of people are super interested, and then they look at your follower count and it's somewhere between 500 and 1,000, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, this is a decent amount of sales that we can guarantee will happen. People are actually interested. It shows that there is interest in your book. It shows that you know how to market, which means when they market and you market combined, that should blow up and become even better. So again, I wouldn't say necessarily, and for sure you have to as a traditional author, but it's a good idea to pre-promote your book before you start querying, because that can give you an extra little edge. All right, what kinds of social media bring in what types of audiences? I'm going to go a little further back. Twitter/X, I still don't know why they changed it, leans more towards the East Coast audience. Funnily enough, Twitter technically reaches everywhere, but the East Coast is more heavily using Twitter than anywhere else. I'm still going to call it Twitter. X is weird. It also means that the audience you have on Twitter is going to tend to be more opinionated, more in your face. So if you're an in your face, loud opinions person, this is a great place. You also will want to consider Instagram Threads. It's this new thing they started that's basically like Twitter, but through the Instagram platform. So you create an Instagram platform and then create a Threads account. And it's very similar. It's very in your face, very loud, opinionated. So if your book is loud and opinionated and you're loud and opinionated, Twitter and Instagram Threads are actually going to be a great place for you to hang out. There have been several authors that I've talked to at LTUE, Life, the Universe, and Everything conference and things like that have talked about the fact that they in fact use Twitter for their marketing. And sometimes they'll be like, I hate books that do this, so you should buy my book because it's so much better than this particular trope. And sure, you'll get a lot of like banter and back and forth and like spitfirey people, but you'll also get a lot of people who are like, yeah, loud and opinionated like you, and they'll hop right on your bandwagon. So if you're loud and opinionated, Twitter or Instagram Threads, I would highly recommend for your social media marketing. Next is TikTok. If you love hopping onto trends and your book appeals to young adult to teen people, I would say definitely hop on TikTok. Part of the reason why a lot of people are like, oh, TikTok doesn't actually work, if they're selling an adult novel or if they're selling something that's more geared towards adults, that is why they're having an issue. Is because generally if your market is older, they're not going to be on TikTok most of the time. Every once in a while you'll catch an adult, but most of the time I would say the adults on TikTok are making content, not buying books. So you're going to want to gear it towards teens and young adults. Facebook, if your book is more geared towards adults, or you want to convince the parents of your young adult audience to buy this book, Facebook is the place, because of the fact that a lot of people who are on the older spectrum use Facebook. I don't know why that is. I'm not being biased. This is just what the research says. Most people who sell adult novels find more success on Facebook because of the fact that it gears more towards adults. Last but not least, Instagram. If you are great with aesthetics and visuals and are aiming for a teen to young adult / adult audience, Instagram is the place for you. You'll find a good amount of younger adults, a good amount of young adults, a good amount of teens, and if you're good with aesthetics and visuals, that is for sure top tier for you. Instagram is a place where everything looks pretty, and that's why you like it. So honestly, for sure go to Instagram if you're an aesthetic person who is aiming for a teen to young adult to younger adult audience. All right. Next thing, what are some tips for creating engaging social media posts and building your brand? I'm going to talk about the basics. I had a whole hour-long class on this at Life, the Universe, and Everything. It's a great conference. I highly recommend it. But I will say it can be condensed decently down into these factors, but I will say be careful because there is a lot more to it than this. First, you want to create your brand. That means you're going to pick 2, maybe 3 colors and stick to those shades, because then people will recognize your post when they pull it open. So if you're not doing your face. If you're doing your face, then make sure you always have your face in your posts, and that way they can recognize you based on your face. But if you don't have your face in your posts, make sure you pick a color and stick to that color scheme. Because if you, for instance, do red one week and then blue the next week and then purple the next week, no one's going to know it's your post. Whereas if you always do a shade of lavender, they always know the lavender post is this person. And therefore, they're going to be more likely to stop if they like your content because they know it's yours. So color can be a great way to do that. It can also be great with designs. If you have snowflakes in the background consistently or something like that, that can also be a great way to catch people's eyes and make people go, hey, it's you. I know you. The next thing you want to do to catch and ensnare new audience members and keep your current audience members is to have an engaging hook. Now, what do I say when I say hook? A lot of you are probably thinking, what? First sentence? No. The first sentence is not what I mean. With an engaging hook, it can be one of 3 things. It can be a standalone quote from your book that's so intriguing that they can't help but want to read the rest of your post to figure out where they can find your book and what they're interested in. Or it can be a summary of like why they would like the book, like here's all the things in the book that people would like, or this book is like X, Y, and Z book, so you might like this book. Different things like that can really help people to encourage them to want to buy something. And also it's a good hook because it's intriguing to them. They're like, oh, I do like those things, so I would like this book. The last thing is asking a question to your readers. Would you read a book that has this, and this? Or another one is, if you were in this situation, what would you do? I'm sorry, my nose itches. So for example, you might say like, if you were kidnapped by a band of alien savages, what would you do? And then your main character is kidnapped by a group of alien savages. So then they're more intrigued. So you want to make sure that basically I would say scroll through Instagram, find what you find interesting, and gear towards that. Gear towards posts like that, because you're going to find your audience is most similar, more than likely, to you. And so what you like is probably going to be what they like. So you're going to want to gear towards, hey, I like these types of posts that do X, Y, and Z for the hook. These types of things bore me. Don't do those things. Generally, I would say is a good rule of thumb to work with social media. Next to last tip is use at least 2 of the following things when making a post. Something visual, so that's either movement or like a little opening book gif, or a recording, or a very, very aesthetic piece. So something visual. Text on the screen, irregardless of whether you're doing a video or not. You can rewrite the text that happens during your video. And then a sound. If you don't have sound during your video, like for example, it could be me talking, but if I'm not talking and I'm just going like, hey, here's my book, look at how pretty it is, I could always do like a fun sound over it of like fantasy music, so they get the fantasy vibes. You want to do at least 2 of those, if not 3. Because the things that are going to engage people the most are interesting text, interesting visuals, and interesting sounds. If you do at least 2, you're going to snare them. If you do 3, you're almost guaranteed. Alright, last bit. Can you market too much? It takes on average 7 times of seeing something before someone will buy it. Therefore, sorry, I have one last Teen Writers Club person in here. Bye, have a great day. So because it takes 7 times seeing something advertised before someone will buy it, that means that you're going to want to market about 70% of the time on your thing. Yes, are you going to want to do personal posts? Yes, are you going to do fun posts? Yes, are you going to do about my writing process posts? 100%. But you're going to want to pump your book 70% of the time. And then the rest of the time, you're going to want to do get to know you stuff. I would also say be consistent with your posting. If you post every once in a while, that's not going to help you. But if you post at least 2 to 3 times a week at the same time every week, that is going to help get your engagement and your algorithm up. And it's going to help people get to see your book more and get more sales. Speaking of marketing. Yes, vary your content. Don't talk about your books 100% of the time, hence why I said 70% of the time. You want to talk about your life, getting to know you, but marketing is really key to selling your books, especially if you're indie. And even if you're not indie, again, that can give you an edge over other authors because that guarantees an audience when traditional publishers work with you. All right. I went over that a little faster than I expected, but I hope you guys still enjoyed it and got something out of it. If you have any questions about social media marketing, or is it worth it, or what do I recommend, please feel free to ask in the comments. And again, don't forget, we have our Cozy Christmas Mystery Contest for short stories that is still going on and will be due on December 30th. Thank you so much.